Remember, as you ride across Iowa, take no prisoners.
I think what Ragbrai really is a week-long rolling folk festival. That's the tag I've put on it over the years. I think it shows off Iowa just about the best way Iowa can be shown off.
For me, it changed my life. I became famous in Iowa, which, for whatever that's worth, I'm not sure it's worth a whole lot, at age 43. And I'd been in a totally anonymous job working on a night copy desk up until that time. And I've met a lot of people and have formed a tremendous number of great friendships through this ride and through biking because of it. But as far as the ride itself, what it means to me, I just love to see people having such a great time, and to be able to be a part of it is very, very gratifying, very satisfying to me.
It's great. We're having a ball. We've been wet. We're finally dried out. It was like one of the best rides ever today. 50 miles of flat territory. Everybody was friendly the whole trip, so it was great. They've been giving stuff away. It's a dream come true.
I have a friend that came to Florida for our ride across the county for 8 years, and they kept talking about this one ride that I must take. So here I am.
To do it at least one time, they say.
I tell you, this is my third year on it, and it's one of the best states I've been to. It's just the people are fantastic.
It's great. Come back next year. We'd like to have back next
Wonderful.
year.
We like all the girls and the bikes. And the guys, just a friendly bunch of people.
Sure are.
Oh, it's tiresome but fun.
Bike is a computerized recumbent, weighs about 400 pounds, 105 speeds. It's had about 16,000 miles on it so far, and it contains an onboard network of computer systems that lets me write and do communications via satellite and so on while riding. Well, there's a satellite communication system that lets me do electronic mail from the road via the G-Star satellite using Qualcomm terminal. Of course, there's a cellular phone with modem and fax. There's an active helmet cooling system, so on very hot days I can run a little pump and pump coolant through the helmet liner. Automatic control of the security system, power management, audio cross-point switching for data communications and such on board. There's a network of computers on there. I figured out the number of processors the other day. It's something like 45 microprocessors, most of which are embedded in products, so that's kind of a misleading number. But the whole system is run by a network of machines that are all talking to each other and taking care of all my applications. Well, there's not a real out-of-pocket cost that I can quote you, because it had lots of help from about 150 sponsors and dozens of people who've thrown a lot of time, their personal time into it. But if you want to run through and look at what the actual value is in terms of the amount of human time it takes and all that other custom engineering, it's about $1.2 million. It eliminates any distinction between work and play and between moving and not moving. So as long as I have my network connections and the satellite links and solar power to run it all, then I can write and consult and stay in touch with clients and everything else while traveling.
The food on Ragbrai is it's just amazing. My wife this year gained 8 pounds on Ragbrai. And the reason is, I think you can, with the kind of exercise you're doing, you can just about eat all you want to on Ragbrai and burn most of it off. It didn't happen for her for some reason this year, but You know, you get up in the morning, and I can't ride without eating something first, so I always have pancakes in the morning, and then I get out. And I guess it reaches the silliness when at about 8:30 or 8:45 in the morning, you're standing beside the road out somewhere in the country eating a pork chop. Not on a plate, you're just eating a pork chop, grabbing it and eating it.
Pork chops!
We're cooking sweet corn for the church stand here. Cooking in the big barrels.
Good stuff, thanks.
It's great.
When we first did this, what we had in mind was that two of us were going to ride across the state by ourselves. And it was going to be an opportunity for Carl to kind of show the register flag out in the state. We've both been doing a lot of bicycling. And we fully expected to be by ourselves. And we really expected farmers along the way to give us a full range of Italian gestures about the register and about how stupid we were. And instead, what we found were lemonade stands. Even that first year, we'd come we'd be riding along, and here's some farmer has a lemonade or some sandwiches or some cookies out there. Even the first year.
Buffalo burgers, better than beef, much better than beef. Lower in fat and cholesterol, wouldn't believe it, they're great.
Lemonade's fine too.
Love it. Come out here for the roads and the Iowa chops and the girls. But I hate the hills. I was looking for tunnels. No tunnels in Iowa. We should be having some serious tunnels out here.
Great. I loved it, man. It was a beautiful day to be cruising. Yeah. Just those hills were just perfect. You could just sprint up to the top of them and get over the top and be going down the other side at 25 miles an hour, no sweat.
Oh, they look all right. I'm not too much afraid of them. And some of them are characters. There was one that had a problem over here. He went to shift down and he stripped his gears or something, and that's why I got this pair of pliers. He had to loosen the nut and get her in shape again.
I wish I was doing it with him. I wouldn't tell you I was going to drink beer with him. I probably would.
Now I wonder, when's the people going to come that drank all the beer last night? Are they through yet? Or are they still coming?
No matter how many times you guys are out here, it's always cut. It's always on the floor. It's always in the cutting room. Where's my shot on the news?
I had no idea. Never dreamed it would be like this. It's great.
I tell you, it's the craziest bunch I've ever seen. I've done lots of rides all over the place, and this is the greatest ride in the United States. It really is.
Well, in 9 years, I keep waiting to get the perfect picture of what a Ragbrai crowd looks like in a town, and I still haven't done it yet. Every once in a while, I think back this year, a couple of towns where it did seem like all of Ragbrai happened to be there all at once. BB Town, just a few miles out of our start in Missouri Valley, seemed to be that way. A little later in the week, Lacona. I think everyone on Ragbrai was in Lacona at once. Then Victor on over east a little bit was that way, where it was just kind of, well, it really almost was gridlock in the towns and just really a happy, happy day. And I love those times on Ragbrai. I also love the times when I'm almost all alone out there on a road and looking out at the countryside. I like those times too. but that doesn't happen very much. The first year I was on Ragbrai, I rode later in the day than I do now, and there were times then when I'd be out there alone, late in the afternoon, on a stretch of road. But when you ride a little earlier in the day, it's not like that. You're always pretty much in a crowd of people.
Well, my job for the whole week is to put up the arrows and lead all the bikers across the state of Iowa. Well, it's been kind of amusing because the last couple of days on the ride, we've had people come up to us in the campground and say, "Oh, that's how the arrows get there." One woman said she'd been on Ragbrai 9 times and had no idea how the arrows got up. And so it's kind of fun when people actually see us putting the arrows up on the road or around the campgrounds, and they finally realize that, somebody has to do it, and it gets done.
I drive, she directs. I do not know my directions. I am too short to put an arrow up on the pole so that riders can see it, so I'm in the driver's seat. Another thing that happened that was very unusual for the route marking mamas this year, we overslept and the riders beat us into the town without the arrows. We were 3 hours late, and it was a nightmare came true, and we hope it doesn't happen again. She set the alarm.
But it was her clock, so it was her fault, definitely.
It was her fault.
Oh, the Iowa State Patrol, their role is essential. That's another factor. Without their cooperation, we never could have done this.
Thank you.
I go out with the Ragbrai people in February, and when we lay this out, and at that time I pick out the major intersections that are going to need like traffic control and so forth, and then I assign my officers to the specific intersections so that the bikes and the cars can kind of somehow get along together and get through.
Bicycles, lots of them.
Okay, one of the misconceptions of the majority of the bikers is that they think the roads are closed, that they're closed to traffic, and that's not true. Oh, they're great. They're really a bunch of really good people. You got a few, and I don't care. You've got what I term really as a mobile community. We're taking a number of people that is larger than the majority of the towns they're even going to, and we're moving them day by day across the state. And we have, if you will, all the problems that a normal town will have, sicknesses and on and on and on, and, attempt to locate and this, that, and the next thing. But for the most part, the bikers are really good people. They're very appreciative of what we do out here. It is one tremendous way to showcase and show off Iowa.
Jesse James thought the train was going to have a gold shipment on it. So they ripped the rails and tied a rope on them so that they could pull it just before the train came through. And it wrecked the train. And they found out that they had taken the gold off of that train and put it on a different one, so they didn't get anything.
The two safes were in this walk-in vault, and they took the cashier in and made him open the safe. And the other safe was on a timer, so he couldn't open it. He convinced him he couldn't open it, and so they put the employees in this walk-in vault and locked it up, and then took off. They didn't fire a shot, nothing.
She never fired again, but she was a hell of a loader.
I held the door open for her. I had $700 in my hand, but they didn't bother that. They didn't even see it. Because I didn't know they was robbing the bank. I didn't know who was doing all the time.
He was born May 26, 1907. He weighed 13 pounds. He was a big baby. When he was born, his name was Marion Robert Morrison. We have a birth certificate. We have letters from John Wayne. We have letters from other dignitaries. Probably the biggest thing that we have become a shrine for John Wayne. The house itself is full of memorabilia, very special things, collectibles. It's really kind of a unique place. We've not been able to find another facility that does what we do. We're not a traditional birthplace, we're not a traditional museum. It's a kind of combination of these things, and it really seems to work.
I'd say Big Jake.
I think it was in the Seabees.
Flying Leathernecks. My dad was in it with him.
Hondo.
True Grit.
Sons of Katie Elder. Green Berets.
True Grit.
Everyone's dressed alike. You don't know if you're riding with a mailroom employee from the Register or a federal judge from Washington, D.C. It's just everybody's equalized with their bicycle uniforms on, and it just you don't know who you're with. There have been some great stories about that too. A woman in one town, I can't remember which town it was, several years ago, we stayed there overnight, and she protested that we were going to trash the town, and she told the chairman it was the worst thing he ever did. She was going to lock her door and pull down her shades and not come out all day long. And the bike ride got there, and she heard a knock on the door, and here two guys, one without a shirt on, another with a beard, and they said, "We wondered if we could take a shower at your house." And she didn't know what to do, and she found out one of the guys is a college professor, and the other guy's a surgeon. And she let him in, and by the end of the afternoon, she was out at her fence yelling, "Would you like to take a shower here? Come in, take a shower." And she had, I don't know, she gave something like 120 showers in her house. And it was, these are all, just people. Some were lawyers, some were bankers, some were laborers, students.
I think the biggest factor, though, is the people of Iowa. It's a stereotype, the Iowa hospitality, but it's really true. Iowans like nothing better than to show off their towns, their communities, and their homes, and to share it with people, especially people from the outside. So the result is when you get people in here from the East Coast and the West Coast who are used to living in an environment where people aren't quite so open and friendly, they come in here and they're just knocked out by the response they get from just average Iowa people showing off their communities.
Yeah, it was built in 1870, and the bridge was moved here about 12 years ago from the west side of town. And it's been sitting here ever since. And now it's become a city park here. And we're just happy everybody can make it.
Good morning and welcome to Bella. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Bella.
On east of the windmill, you'll find tie boats, 3 on the left, 3 on the right. Here those Winterset chimes. That's coming from what we call the Clocken spell.
You know, Pella's used to this because of the Tulip Festival. And the reception down there was typical Dutch. I've ridden bicycles in the Netherlands, and we get a great reception there. And that's exactly what the Pella community did today.
Nice to have you in town.
There are numerous.
One of those creamhorns and a Dutch letter.
Dutch letters are pastry made with almond filling and made out of a puff pastry.
They're Dutch letters. That's right. They're famous for this career life.
Awesome. It was worth the wait.
Having smoked cheese. What kind is it? Smoked cheddar. And some bologna sticks. And some other summer sausage with Ritz crackers from Ulrich's Bologna Shop, which happens to be my name as well. No relation, though.
The Amana colonies were started in 1714 in Europe, and because of religious persecution, they came westward. So they established these villages in 1854 and 55. There are 7 villages, and it's in a 20-mile radius. And we are now Iowa's top tourist attraction. We host very nearly 2 million visitors a year. And we're very, very happy to have these people visit us. And we hope that when they come to visit us, that they see our films, learn about us, and go away with a feeling of knowing a little bit about our community.
Our job is to get all the bicycles finished before the next morning. Everyone has to ride, and that's our job and our goal, and that's exactly what we do, is we get them all fixed up here regardless of what's wrong with them so people can ride the next morning. It's sort of like being an ER doctor. You know, it's every accident's a little different, everyone's problem's a little different, and it's fun actually. I mean, it's a lot of work, and everyone's looking tired here about the 4th day, but it's fun, it's enjoyable. It's something we really get a kick out of, getting those people back on the road.
Her bike says no brakes.
No rear brakes. Coming down the hill, grabbed a handful, then I panicked.
We were replacing a lot of broken spokes. Gears are real important. It's a fairly hilly course. Everybody wants to make sure that their bicycles are shifting properly because they are using all the gears. So we're doing a lot of derailleur adjustments, things like that. So we've been busy really with everything. And also something that's really important that people don't think about it, and that's the way they ship the bicycles to Ragbrai. Before the ride starts, you can't believe how busy we are fixing bicycles. And before they've even been ridden 1 mile. And part of that is the way they're packed and shipped up here. They come up and they've fallen off of a car rack because they were put on improperly. And we have all kinds of problems like that. So it's not only a matter of getting the bikes serviced properly before the ride, but also in maintaining the quality of service during the transportation of the bike up to the ride.
It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. I had no idea it was this big a project, that Ragbrai had so many people from so many different places. It's incredible. It's a lot of fun to meet the people. Half the time you don't even feel like you're working. Today's story is Iowa hospitality. So we talk to different bikers along the route. We talk to the people who are in the towns where they stop, and we interview people if they'll talk with us. Half the time when we do the interviews, we just end up talking about other stuff other than the story. But we talk about what we're going to do when it comes to the story, and then go out and do it.
The entertainment it keeps getting bigger every year. It used to be that, once during the week we'd have a big rock band or something playing a street dance, and now we have that every night. And this year, I think more than ever, we saw that on the towns we'd be going through during the days, they'd have stages set up and entertainers, and in some cases bands playing, for several hours. Lacona down there had a band from Des Moines, and the Ragbrais really talked about Lavender Lace that played for, I think, 6 or 7 hours during the day at this grocery store down there. It was just, that's just phenomenal. So you have that, you have the solo entertainers. One of my favorites this year was the one-woman band. Her name's Nancy Cipher, and I think she's from Brooklyn, and she plays, among the things she does, she plays guitar with her toes, and so you have those kinds of things too. I guess my favorite entertainment that happens on Ragbrai are the little things. We had a couple from riders, a couple from Salt Lake City, Utah, who came in, and he played a little mandolin and she played the spoons. And they'd stop and they'd perform just along the roadside or in the towns or wherever at little food stands.
I know what I want for myself. That would be? Something that really explains what I'm going through this week on vacation. Sunburn, dehydration, chafed, exhausted, and entirely sick of hills. Really sick of hills.
I had a heart attack in 1987, and we always, the register crew, and we have 4 vans and a straight truck, 2 straight trucks, I can't even remember. But they all assemble in front of our house in Des Moines. And people who are going to go up with the register arrive there, and they drop off their baggage and their bikes, and then we load the bikes, and everybody piles in the vans, and they take off. Well, I had a heart attack in '87, 2 weeks before Ragbrai. And I sat in a lawn chair and watched everybody load up and take off. And I thought I was going to cry. If someone had asked me, I'd have said, no, I can give this up. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's a job. It's my job. It's part of my job. But holy mackerel, I felt like I'd been betrayed. I felt like yelling, no, you can't do that without me. You can't do that without me. And it was, I really found out that it means a whole lot to me.
Oh, the weather's fantastic and the route is beautiful. And everything seems to be going very, very well. The hospitality in the towns has been great. It's certainly, I mentioned the weather, certainly got to be one of the great weather years predictions weren't too good to start with.
Get the hell up!
The week of Ragbrai is one of the nicest times I think I can ever have without saying I am working. I am working, but it's like a working vacation. I run into, sometimes it takes 6 or 7 years to meet people that I've been talking on the phone with. So I think my connection with Ragbrai is one of the best things that ever happened to me. It's a joy in the office. It's 10 years for me, and it's a joy of the week of Ragbrai.
Welcome to the town of Anita, to the whale of a town. The whale's right here in the back end of this pickup. We're going to put him in the lake after a while. He's getting hot. As soon as the bees leave, we'll put the whale away. I got stung by a couple of good-looking bees. And I had a nooner, too. I don't know what that is, because at my age, I forgot.
You think of peanuts, you think of peanut butter. We're making a 300-foot long peanut butter sandwich to call attention to George Washington Carver and also getting Guinness World Book of Records.
Oh, absolutely gorgeous. It's probably the most beautiful, scenery-wise that we've ever had. And I'm just delighted with the people and the town. This is all volunteer, and they just have absolutely done a spectacular job this year. Welcoming, opening up their homes, the town, everything.
I think the towns and the people were a lot more than I expected, a lot more friendly. I wish the rest of America was as friendly as Iowa, actually. It'd be great. Yeah, I think it's an experience that everybody should experience at least once. Definitely. Really fun.
we are having what we call a skidio, and that's when you drive a Case IH skid steer through an obstacle course. And the obstacles represent tasks that farmers and construction people do every day in the operation of this machine. And the person who can go through the obstacle course the fastest is the winner.
Beautiful, excellent. Hello to Brooklyn, Iowa, from Queens, New York.
No, we're having a great time since we've been here. The people couldn't be nicer. We didn't think this type of community still existed in the country. We were having a great time. Well, when somebody comes up and asks you, like, do you want to get in the car to go for a ride? Like, if you were back in Brooklyn, New York, you got an offer like that, you might wind up swimming with the fishes. Here, they just take you down the road to the party,
You'd be wearing a cement kimono. You're on the road for doom. Doom. You're on
apple pie, the breakfast soup champions.
Say hello to my mother, would you? Hey guys, it's you! Get out of my bedroom at this time of day!
People from Iowa have just opened their homes and their cars and everything else. They've been really great to us.
And a lot of neat people.
Last time was a bitch and I want to quit, but I didn't want because she told me not to.
I'll tell you, it's great to be here and finally have real Bellevue weather. It's a hell of a lot better than it was 2 years ago. I want to thank you all the people of Iowa, for everything they did for us all week. I want to thank all you riders for everything you did for the state of Iowa all week. It was just great all week long.
I can only say about Donnie here that if this is his last, I hope I can go out the way he's going out. This has to be one of the best, if not the best, Ragbrai we've ever had. The weather has been just fantastic for 5 of the 7 days, and I can't remember prettier scenery as often as we had at this time. Those beautiful valleys and all.
Don Minson is an organizational genius who took this event, Ragbrai, in its early years and turned it into one of the few truly major league events that we have in Iowa, something that's known the world over, something that's loved by thousands of people all over the world. I guess you can't do better than leaving your mark on something like that in your lifetime. Don, you've done a tremendous job. For John and myself, we'll be back taking orders from Jim Green next year, and we'll all be back here to do it all again in the last full week of July, and I hope you're with us. Thank you.